가차가차 오네 통용 그랬어. 이내야 저런도 또스 이게 뒤 사무당나 전도용 그랬어 그랬어. 아 라귤이 개반 뒤제 생이래서. 라귤 귤이 개반 뒤제 기생.
라귤 귤이 개반. 라귤 귤을래.
귤.
알래.
디신 디도나 야버랬어.
So Geshe said, he's going to say, tell us some definition of, some term, and some of this might come later in the text, the same kind of definition or meaning. So he first started with the composite phenomena or compounded phenomena, and this one, the meaning is that which arise or that which produce from cause.
그래서 유리케어도 뒤시 제바시도 뒤제시도 갈라 뒤시 제바서 유견한테는 tum댕이 질란 뒤제시도 와. 이디가라 유리케어 뒤제싱이 돼 고대보도 와. 아니 깨지마 미다베싱이래. 고투선이네 깨지 지두고에서 미다바래 라데. 깨지마 미다베싱이.
And for the, as said, that which arises from its own cause, the composite or compounded, that which arises from its own cause. Dushing chepa korsan bushin du.
유당 켄다 근데 뭐 루루제네 그 이겨라.
Okay, I'll just kind of explain the literal meaning of the Tibetan word duche, which is composite or compounded phenomena, and literally it means kind of the thing or phenomena or object produce or arises from the combination of causes and factors. So that's the meaning behind this compounded phenomena or composite phenomena. And the second is impermanent. Impermanent has a very kind of short meaning. It's in English it would be just momentary. In Tibetan there's one kechikma which means momentary. So momentary is equal to impermanent. And if you kind of extend this momentary, you can say that momentary changes right after the birth of that phenomenon or object. Whenever that phenomena comes into existence, from that very time, it starts kind of from its very time of the coming into being, it starts changing. Therefore, it's momentary. And the Tibetan word is ngopo, which means object or thing or phenomena. So when we say thing and object, the simple meaning definition here is that which is able to function. And the able to function here refers to produce result, produce effect.
DJ Nidapa Ngobozana Tunji de Pena di you the came mabus in Dibichani, Colon Duce Labre. Keji in G Duguenza, Keji Nidapa Labre. Rangin Duki with Tunjainza, Ngobola, Tunjini Bangobisingiri. Or the Dustine. Cotton Pay Pagi Rangi Chawa Mara when mean Maraj Tagar Mado, Yichi Chari.
So Gajal said, these all can be the characteristic of one single object. You are looking from different perspective, or different side of the nature. So, for example, when we look at this, singing ball, the first, this is composite or compounded phenomena because this came to existence because of, cause and factors and conditions that, all kind of, came together, and therefore we have this sinking ball. So we can say that the sinking ball is compounded phenomena or composite phenomena. And second, of course, we can say that this is impermanent because, there is a momentary changes on this, sinking ball. And then third is, this is object or phenomena or, a thing because, it is able to function. It's a functioning thing, basically. So when we look at this sinking ball, we see all these three, qualities. And so therefore, these three, as we said before, although they are three different, words, but meaning behind is basically kind of same, and there is only one basis or one, object or one thing.
So these laws in samutanda, dodiba ya halse jiba chadiga. Ta chada ma tenjini ba jadande, tenjini bi kwa jadande, tos kebara yungre. Te kora oni sebutin yungre.
So if you have this, understanding of these three terms and what they mean and how kind of, how they kind of, how they each are related, when looking at the one context like sinking ball, So if you have that understanding, this should be, helpful, especially after school higher than Sutra school, Sutra and minor school and middle school. But the first school, which is Great Exposition School or Particularist, this school has a slight different interpretation of what thing is or what object or what phenomena is.
Oda chue da kaji ma mai bi ji tumba ta be singi si wa ta pa singi di yo ga ji chue si ne rang ngo de ba chu singi de din di se ngo mara thong do di chue se ten di se rang ngo de ba chu singi chue yin de nge ani kaji ma mai ba kaji jing ji ma ko tembo jen de nge ji la
chue mai ba sung
chue da kaji ma chue yin de nge chue da kaji ma mai bi ji tumba tela takpa sing ores takpa sing de gala yo ga ji la ani jia men de nge kota tendi ji la takpa la ores.
So permanent thing or permanent object or permanent phenomena refers to it is a thing or it is an object or it is a phenomena, but there is no momentary changes on that thing, so which is basically opposite of impermanent, and more kind of literal definition would be it is a thing and an object, but there is no lack of common ground of being thing and non-momentariness. Is that correct to say? Because there is no common ground for phenomena and object, and also having kind of not changing. So these two are kind of contradictory. And so the easier way of saying is phenomena or thing or object, which is opposite to momentary.
Singi Jundus Chichana, Singi to the Misiva Ketchum Chagor. Singi the Senate Tonta de Lemsan, Chihagua, or Dindiji, Yen Dichan, call singing Dinijitadua, Sidugala, Koram Jichi Gala, any Shu Manda Kitchen Mana Mambuji Jatubudua. Penna di Mita Bade, quick kitchen. Kiji any Dilbu Midabade, Dilbi Kitchi. Any Dilbun Dijede to be Kitchi. Any Cabrigi Tando, Kitchen Mana Jatubura, what a Tidi, Cabrayabo. Tindi in the Galamato, Chick Torture Jetuna, some of Korea, some of Koreana, Kari Cabrere, Nijenji the Yamdo Kajache Gojuna. Nilo Papa Kajasetu. Rangi Mizin Dunam Salgina, Tata, Indigi, Ribal and Jang de Inza, Mizin Dunam Yabush, Jetugure. Ran la Nipe yen to che je gwa de namba sang ni sung do wa to cho ni ji do je ya bo chi che ba ya bo che to je do na ngone 계속 땡땡 용어야 차려래. 용어에 주는 말 그래요 말에. 어디서 개첨부 오늘 이마지를 생이 요즘에 람데나 쳐지요 말에. 이린 데서 돈을 잡 제로 맞추지 야네한테 제 아니 자망 양의 생이 가시 또 되기나 편도 용으로 생도 아니 그 단대 갑도 차요 말데 이내야 자망 용도 가라 단단히 생이 때 꼼빠지 레비나 제말레도 띠띠리아 쓴데 양해신 대행이 쳐버려요.
So, this kind of the definition or meaning of the words are considered as kind of important, and it will make a big difference later when you go into more reading further down the text. And as said, before, if you know the definition or meaning. At the same time, you are getting the understanding of the different characteristic of one phenomena. So we use the sinking ball, and sinking ball is compounded phenomena. Sinking ball is impermanent, and so a sinking ball is functioning thing or object. So when we are saying that sinking ball is a compounded phenomena, what we are saying is we are sort of bringing up the characteristic of this thing. The characteristic is impermanent. It is a compounded phenomena, so this way of kind of studying or looking into the nature of phenomena through analysis is really helpful. When you look at different perspective of the one object and different characteristics, it will make you kind of think more. It will make you more creative, which will also help. If you have some objective of ambition in your life, how to achieve that and what the different the approach that you want to adopt. And so in Buddhism, we consider kind of other cherishing mind as more important than self-cherishing mind or ego mind. And so if you use this kind of technique of looking at the nature of the things, you will come to the conclusion that these are actually these make sense. These are correct, valid. So Gajal said it should be helpful if you keep a note and try to have learn this meaning of this the words that we went through. Although it might not be although this word might not come up right at this moment, but later when you see these words, it will kind of help you to remind and kind of remind you the meaning of this.
The mother kanga nawa saba in by chansona any ko tengyer to snu le wa ngaman to jugin dena jeba khabdula ngaman dilasa te tere sha samsam nation de la khabar chumbu ngo te idugala to su jamani yang changya la phendo like super google sam do.
And that he also thinks that this is helpful in later stages of your learning the same textbook. When you hear the word, you will have kind of oh, I have heard this before, and this might mean this. Instead of learning all this new term within kind of very short term, try to learn kind of slowly few words, and this will help later.
Ka di tirin rogen de nenga chen shajire agi indugala thagi kasore tosu dade belula taji ki thapongsu sanjam belula taji ki thapongsu uma belula taji ki thapongsu deso to so lo zum sambatang yani yandu jichigi na pependa kore.
And the the point we just discussed before, how four school of thoughts interpret themselves as a middle way, avoiding from two extremes. How great exposition school, mind-only school, Sutra school, middle way school. So their own interpretation that Geshe said is helpful, later. So it's kind of important point.
Umapanam chetamji tanyi diyo ba chepe tapung, chepe tali drolji. Tondamdo mebe tabe tali drolji ndotos. Tati umaba sidi galata najo chepe umarangi ba, dode chepe umarangi ba, uma tangi wa gangayong kore. Jesa, hagi tanyi diyo ba sidi gala chik lo namjo shida ma cheche ngarang su tanda nashi sindegi dindu sade ngarang su nangzun de ji yendegi chik kelengin de la tanyi diyo ba chepe cheta ya rembar matura tenni me andu sade chik pe hagi demayin ba tanyi diyo yende ba chepe thale to tontamdu tontamdu matuba sidugala hagi rembar matuba nyamja ishi yule yendegi wata remba ni sidugala kunzo demba tontam demba sigdwa kunzo demba sini ngarang su nongju najinji kelengi di yendegi tanyi di yusu dela kunzo demba re te mayin bache ngaju nongju la denang yore tanjin yore denjin yore nongju la lotul degen tuli cha mangboji yore 이나야 다 투와 때다 따는데 그 밥이 냠자 이시 유래 연대니 아니 배 추기 니루메마데 다직 렘버 마투바 라징이 마투바 아니 디기디 밥은 냠자 이시 유라 그럼 여인자 때라 전담된 바스 전대 되지 렘바데 가르 냠자 이시 유래 렘바 인자 렌 인자 정담 렘바 세대 때리 보다티 전담 바스 세대 즉 오늘 냠자 이시 유래 돈 렌데긴 지스고 보다티 우마벨루라 다타 폰수들 정담도 막 답에 탈래 터진 더 도지 보다 비조 인가 차고 그래서 양도 삼모당다 ringi thola ni ju kwa o cha ya bo cha na deni ringi kwa de le yo kore deni de be chik phage ngone tendel ji te khona ni gyula te ni dibu le te ni gyu den dibin dewa de kande ji yung do deso ya bo samta na jindagi gi na ne ta phage tendel ja tha de se bo kwa cha de wada te mayin ba chik ya uma tangyuwada rangi batsudi ya tenel tele zago dogore wada tezo i keparda hagore wada tezo te misi nenga chambore
We'll go to the fourth school, the way of interpretation of being a middle way school. So on page 176, third paragraph. The proponents of the middle way school maintain that they are free from extreme of annihilation because they assert the conventional existence of all phenomena. They consider that they are free from the extreme of permanence because they assert that all phenomena whatsoever are without ultimate existence. So, so this is how the middle way school interpret avoiding from two extremes. And the first they says that free from the extreme of permanence, because all phenomena, extremes of annihilation, because the conventional existence of all phenomena. Conventional existence refers to accepting the existence of phenomena as if, the way it appears to us, accepting of phenomena the way it appears to us. It's a conventional, you can also say conventional truth or conventional nature. And this is not, when you look at it, truth. This is conventional truth, and this is not, ultimate truth, or this is not perfect or valid, because the way things appear to us, it is not valid because we have a different kind of ways of seeing the nature of phenomena, and sometimes we have a truth grasping, the appearance of truth, as if we see as if phenomena exist kind of a kind of true nature with true inherent existence, and sometimes we have appearance of permanent seeing, as if phenomena or things or objects are like kind of not changing at all, and there are of course many illusions or misconceptions that we have. So the conventional is therefore opposite or not the ultimate. The ultimate existence or the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth here, it means that it is true or it is valid to the mind of the superior being who are at the to the wisdom of the meditative equipoise, superior being who are at the meditative equipoise of the superior being, or another way of saying is that who achieved the path of seeing, and to their mind, whatever they perceive is valid, as compared to ordinary mind, and to their mind it is truth. So here, if you kind of think more about, try to think more about, the meaning behind true truth, and if you gain a good understanding of true truth, it will help you to understand full truth, and also when you have a good understanding of cause and effect, how cause produces result, and how effect is rely upon its cause. If you know the relationship between cause and effect well, this will help you to understand the concept of dependent origination of two lower school here, the Great Exposition School and Mind Only School. But as you go up, higher school, middle way, autonomy school, and middle way, consequence school, the concept of dependent origination gets very kind of subtle and more kind of difficult to understand. So the good way of kind of studying is, of course, try not to forget what you have learned before from the teaching, and on top of that, it should be helpful if you read other books, because there should be other translations of Tenets, and through that you can kind of develop, improve what you already have knowledge.
Di ribe rilam jaya insa phage kheba sosogi riben dream manda yore. Riben dream manda jiya insa diden lo phag jamba de riben dream manda jolo de sosu lebena la ripa manda ni ledi gala ati samtata de kande jire do te samtata kande jire do jine yang samro manda ni khore gi hendo yong ko ase
Rilam de tupta de rilam de sunmi.
Otat kandadi so rilam jang yung sheji cha de wa philosophy sing de ko pe chi ngone riba yung khorang kani tha che cha de wa so lu teng ju mare ju riba khorang de ten ni tha 장고래. 대나 대도 그런 tum다 그런 다시 나도서 주바 담집에 뜬딩이 수진도 드라마 봐 시기도. 이제 소나 주바 담집에 수진도 드라마 봐 되게 맞아. 이제 빠데 시방 갈지. 두야데 루이도 두거라. 뭐 소설 루이라.
And when we learn this philosophy or concept, what we are learning is it's sort of kind of ways of thinking, how you approach to the the reality of the phenomena, and you are using basically your kind of the analytical understanding, and therefore when we learn these things, we don't rely much upon scriptures or quotations. You use your own way of kind of understanding through analysis or analytical approach, and therefore it is helpful kind of to read other books, because different scholar or different teacher has a different kind of ways of expressing or interpretation of how these kind of ideas are played. So you will get new ideas from two different scholars, and therefore you can, it will be more kind of helpful. And because when we look at the meaning of the tenet, and we mentioned before, establishing or coming to the decision, and then not kind of avoiding it, or not kind of running away from it. You came to the decision, you come to the conclusion, and then holding on to that decision, which we kind of mentioned before that it's what tenet means. So if you don't have something kind of decided ideas or concept in your mind, then there's nothing to be holding on to. So what is important here is to have something kind of ideas or concept or philosophy or in your mind. There should be something in your mind in order to kind of to learn or study this kind of subject.
켈린 드와 메겐지 구구하래. 담치바든 드와 메가지. 더 리모트 받아줘. 오늘 개발 인데 면식이 됐대 구구하래. 군진 자지가 퍼진 이전에 열에. 담바남비 케제 미제지. 깔때 까웨 케지 라이거나 롤라 리모트 받아 볼게. 롤 리모트 티샤디가라 티수 가보도와. 어떻게 나인지. 오늘 삼르다 타치 담제데 탐에 타든 담제서 어떤 딜리진도와 딜란 로사미도 레테세 당원이 리바 간디지다나 텔라니 페인 가품 가르치고 리바 랭 간디시 캡고 또 진 타지는 소스 시귤라 이제 덴바체이나 시시버 텔리시 진데나 다 제만이 니치기 좁아져 연디가라 같이 세나 대기 나만이 삼로 nem부터인데 인자 랑 차려요. 다 대기 나만이 삼로 야가 유고 있다이나 다 미전다지 같이지나 나토미 이제니 나쿠나 그니면엔도 간바 나쿠는 줄 집어지 그냥 자그래. 대미 임바이나 담바 차요 말. 담바 인데 민스인데 소세 리파탄 켈렌 지체니 텔라이니 페 리페 trupne eni pe katui na lavia yungi jina ngone tambare injike de mason professor se na ngone de mado yang ji phagi ji twe yang shung ji ngogende ngaso zon de jinde ni ji tiwa tan de ji shung ji ngong je ma ji khe ngo se de na professor mare de sui che tu dura igi lo sing kangal che tu wa.
So again, tenet, it consists kind of two important meaning. The first one is decision or promised. The second part is not kind of giving it up, whatever the promise or decision or conclusion that you came upon. You are not giving it up. And this is kind of important because, why, when we think about why you are not giving it up, it's because you came to the conclusion after long, serious, thought process, analysis, learning, and you come to the conclusion after kind of going through all kind of possible, doubts, suspicion, questions, these all should be preceded, before coming to the conclusion. And so if you come to the conclusion after going through, these all learning processes, then it doesn't matter what questions that, people asked and raised, because you have all gone through possible kind of, doubt, suspicions, for your concept or philosophy. And whenever there's questions and doubts, you can easily come up with the, because you are well prepared. And so this is what we are referring to here, not giving it up. Because you are not giving it up because, you came to the conclusion through kind of thorough understanding and thorough study. So this is what the tenet means here. And for the same reason, Javyang Sheba, a great master, in his perfection transcendental document, it's the name of the text. In that text, he says that there's a verse which says that the great learned scholars, they don't hold on to belief easily. Once they did, it will be like a curving on the stone. So that's how kind of great scholars they do. They won't come to the conclusion easily, but if they did, it will be very stable, strong. There's no change. It's like a curving on the stone. It will stay there for a long time. So when we study, Geshe said, we should be kind of try to follow this way of learning. Kind of spending as much as we can in kind of understanding in depth of your concept or philosophy that you want to hold on to. And through that, Geshe said, then one could become truly what we call, professors. You are truly learned scholar in that field. Otherwise, if it is like somebody asks a question and you say, wait, I will bring question answer next time, then that can be done by anybody who can read or write, but that is not considered as a true kind of scholar or true learned master. And if you need to kind of inform somebody called scholar several days ahead for preparation, then we won't consider that as a true scholar, because if you give him a preparation time, he is preparing what he is going to talk, because for the another way of saying is that if you are truly professor or scholar, you already know the answer or whatever that you need to talk.
What a dose. Then Tuta Koma Namja Oma Ome, Tuta Tuma Maimbaram Gobarchekia, Oma Ome Tawa Koade, Koma Komekoe, Taptamber Nawe, Tuta Koma Lochodu, Umala Raman Mijao, Tati, Kalote, the Missiva, Nimbunanguare. Maran to that, check money. Maui Tumu Maimbe, Tawa de Karaina, G. Hamako, Dode Pada Hamako, Umarangi, but thank you as the Gala, she would resident. Neda Mashegone, thank you with Tawa Lagazin Chia, Jenny, need to Tawa Omala Merata, to Tawa Omala, the Jade, Unity Gumari, is this way. Oma, Tawa Quiet, and Bezin Chamberchin, name Mimbuchin Bezin Chawar. Carson, Ome Tawa the Rapasha. Rapa the Hamaguna, Tamu the Hagu Marwa. Hapa the Mason and Gulja give it Tungumena, Rigu Pagu, Jingulja give it Tungumarwa. Petajin to it. Nin dinging ama to that Hidugala. Nalangu. That are more than the Patas. Then it's a Raguminu, Umatango Ragidu. When is it? Jeta Tawa to Hago. The Debata Hago. senzabil tawa hago ha goe goni ta ngoni umarang yubil tawala chik ngeba ina ngeba nyetha manda jo chagir samgo ngaranda ngeba nye umarta kawa ka taruni umar thangyubil tawa jeta kaba kawa tarun dodebe cheta mai tawala samutande jo kaso tutuji nai hago yo mare chigyo marte inaya ngin sunsha gyata kaso tutuji 장바지 가서 뚝뚝지 제로 맞으지 양양도 결집지 되죠 양양도 다 로되죠 이 로데티 같은데라 또 엄마 자기 마시노 고마시야 kho랑 말해 때나 강파 톱무지라 누구이나 견자 엄마 만자가 견자 고마 레기 말다 베티진도 또 엄미 타왕 운에 자네기 두모마인 바노 고마가 고그리데 가르친 고그리 코텔 거기 공매 따사 나신지 오마디 레요 말에 인상 고그와래 투모마인 바 가셔가신 거 강가 말에 오마 고메 오마메 타왕 거 왔쟁이 오마 타와 고야데 소소 하 고야데 고메 타와 고야라 탑나 말에 그래서 인상 오마 나신지 어때 땡디 인데라 옴 투다 오마라 배 오마데 캡스 시부레스네 오마라니 베 당보지 퍼기 니메지 데리지 조마레 세카나로 어떻게 또는 이즈베르 케치모드레
Page 176, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth paragraph. Although those tenets of the lower schools that are not shared by the higher schools are refuted by the higher schools of tenets, an understanding of the lower views is an excellent method for gaining an understanding of the higher views. Therefore, you should not despise the lower tenets just because you hold the higher tenets to be superior. So here, this is a very important, basically saying that you shouldn't be kind of criticizing, looking down upon the lower schools just because they are lower schools, and as mentioned here, because lower schools are the excellent method to understand the concept of higher schools. And it is like, when you look at the rope, and if you are not seeing the rope at all, there's no way that you can see, the string that, kind of combined and made that rope. So you need to kind of have the picture of more kind of gross level understanding. Then you can go kind of more subtle, or in four school of thoughts you can go higher and higher. And so the lower school's philosophy or ideas, they are like a building blocks for the higher school. And because Kechal said he has some student before who wants to kind of who are have a great interest in the higher school philosophy, middle way consequence, and they don't want to learn, lower schools like Great Exposition and Sutra school because they are lower school, and it's not kind of in depth, So that kind of way of learning is wrong, because if you come to the highest level of understanding through proper step, your knowledge will be totally different than who have learned directly the high school of thoughts without going through the lower steps. And it is like if you want to climb up the at the top of the house, you need to climbing on the steps that are near the floor, and those are the steps that will take you to the highest floor. So those steps are important, and so the Geshe said for himself, although he doesn't even know the good understanding of the lower schools he's learning, and let alone schools of high middle way consequent schools, but he is doing his best, kind of reading the text again and again, and kind of reminding himself what he learned from his teacher, and then sharing with us what he learned before. So So therefore, Geshe said, this is kind of, we should be kind of careful, and it is something important, not kind of neglecting, the lower school's thought. If you want to have a good understanding of the high school or, lower school's philosophy are the best or excellent method to get to the high school.
이 컵도들라 좀더 자위는 가르치나 오메 타와 꿈에 텍저송 텍스는 견자다 빼기 직 이래 자 변나 견자를 배자는 둠대도 견자 엄마든 자라 꼬마 레벨로 엄마든 자고요 때나지 타와 꼬마도 하고라 오메 타와라 하고와 되게 거
And actually in the root text of the Tenets, it says that, the concept, the philosophies of the lower schools are like, serve as steps for the higher school. Because of the lower school, you have a higher school. So the lower schools are kind of holding, or making higher school being, higher school a higher school.
지금 팔게란 요래. 렘비 타방굴레 마시나 장페 랄굴레 시기 말해라. 니 가서 장보이나 렘바라 탑 미 렘바지라 타방굴 줬다 하마 구구면나 니 가서 장보이나 라마게 레도라 고기타 같이 굴때 열어 니 장보이나 하고 말했어. 대충 랍라고래. 이번에 락바데 하마고나 참어 학과야 가버려. 인디가라 락발은 장선 저거다 거친 거래.
렘베 할렘베 그때도
렘베 타방굴레 하마고나 장페 랄굴레 하미고 할게라 에 니가서 장보이나 랑굴도 저라 하고 말라
로기 풀렘
라고
아니 근데 전다 하고 좀어서 렘베기 렘바기
타방굴도 저가 하고 메나 왕부 교보 되게
미치가 강사 찍을 샤워 강사 니베 샤워
강사 니로 니 장동 니로 장보디 렘바디 가서 렘바이나 되게 타방 bombu 타방 물려져라 하고 메나 니 장보이나 되게 타방 물려져 랑 물려져라 니 장보이나 하고 말해 나오래 되나 jingi 락바다 하마고이나 참고 배 가와텔 가고 찾으러
So as said before, if you don't understand the gross level of the philosophy, there is no way that you can understand the subtle level, of that, philosophy. So therefore, first it is important to understand the gross level or the big picture, you can say, and then, go kind of, more inside, more detailed, more subtle. And Geshe said, it's not only kind of, this not only applies here, but, there's a common expression when we talk, expression which says that if a fool doesn't understand, the movement of the rope, the intelligent person won't, understand the movement, won't perceive the movement of the, hair of the, goat or goat animal. So, the point here is that if you don't see the big movement, there's no way that you can see the, kind of movement of small object. Should share the to channel kasi. Should you all come show this?
다디 타와 남바상기 두타 마웨 칭이 되다더니 자고와 대나 타와 까다기 차게지 켈레베 가자테 남바상기 두타 마웨 칭이 준조데스 다즉 남바상기 바인인데 gemdo 켈레 마는데 두타 바와지 타와 까다기 차게지 켈레 메나이고니 엔 두타 마와스 자고래 다 남바상기 두타 마와 제나 타와 까다기 차게지 켈랭구래 렘발라 셰구래 이게 좀
So now next we will go to the the definition or meaning of the proponent of Buddhist tenets. The proponents of Buddhist tenets and simply Buddhist is two different things. And if you are just Buddhist, then what you need is we discussed before. You need to have a refuge in three objects of jewel or three objects of refuge. But to be a proponent of Buddhist tenets, you has to have as said here. The four seals, accepting the four seals. And in order to accept these four seals, Geshe-la said, of course, you need to know what these four are.
다 자기지 뒤지 담제 미다바 자체 담제 둥아와 최 담제 라메바 냥알린데 바 지와오 그래 다 자기지 때 다 뒤제 담제 미다바시 뒤신 지인데비 유긴데나 라투 자니네 대기 공도전에 유튜브 다 코란랑기 지야데 진용이 이겐 잘 남아데 바 유코란 원이 두베가 지비 라니 비켄데 인자 디시체베 쳬던데 미다바요 디니 다시 템바 요마레 또 가르 잠보이나 다시 템바 요마레 보다 그리고 가서치 잠보이나 다시 템바게 마 진주가라 거기 원이 개와치만 핀제기 다백이 되던 두비알라 아니 세던된 지체 오래 보다 때까지 치고 디제 던데 메데바 자체 탐제 동아와 자바 뉴몬을 자래 오늘 자체 뉴몬이 정황 손도 뉴몬이 지 신젤라 오늘 누구나 깨기 귀찮아요 보다 무슨 거야 근데 오늘 접하게나 동아 숨 셰인들라 동아 기동안 주의 동안 자반 되지 기동할 때도 셰인들라 오늘 유리 동안 개와 자치 길레트죠. 그럼 서로와 대화를 때 이나야 그 규제대 가지 즉 동안 망보지 징기여 인상 그양 유리 동안을 잘도 와. 자치 길레트. 근데 이들가 딱 오늘 자치 현재 동아와래. 오늘 동안 생기 간디치 잡.
The definition of a proponent of Buddhist tenets is a person who asserts the four seals, which are the views testifying that the doctrine is Buddha's. The four seals are, the first one is all compounded phenomena are impermanent. Second is all contaminated things are miserable. Third is all phenomena are selfless. And fourth is nirvana is peace. The first one, all compounded phenomena are impermanent. We just discussed about compounded phenomena, right? Compounded phenomena or composite phenomena, which refers to things or phenomena or object which arises from cause and effects. So as long as thing arises from cause and effect, it is definite that that thing is impermanent, and it doesn't matter what environment that the thing exists, what friends or helpers or whatever surrounding things are. It doesn't matter, as long as that thing is result of cause and conditions. It is impermanent, and the nature of the impermanent, as we said before, when things came to being. Impermanent nature is built up in the nature of that object. The impermanence, its impermanence is also born with the object, the impermanent part or quality. So therefore, when we say a thing is impermanent, we are not saying that impermanence of that object is came from another, outside thing. It is built up in the system. It is built up in that very object. So therefore, that object, is impermanent right from the beginning of its existence until, its time of destruction or disintegration. So as long as, phenomena are compounded, they are impermanent, unstable. It doesn't matter. And therefore, the point here is that, make this life meaningful. This life is impermanent. We will, end up in, disintegration. So make this life meaningful. The second is all contaminated things are miserable. The contaminated here refers to delusions or defilements. So whatever is under the power or under the control of delusion, defilements, or ignorance, are miserable. So here, we can talk about, the three types of suffering. The suffering of suffering, suffering of change, pervasive suffering, or conditioned suffering. And when we look at these three types of suffering, contaminated positive activities are considered as the suffering of change. Although, when we say contaminated positive activities or contaminated virtuous activities, these activities are virtuous. These activities are positive, but but they are contaminated. So therefore, they are considered as suffering. They are part of the suffering.
아주 풍부해. 용 남마데 둘이 남바다비 지중도 마도 미 유된 도구미도. 예를레기 방들이데 거기다 누가만 보신 댕기 어디 삼로 땅나 학과에 되고 알아줘야 되고. 나제게 와데 유네 동안에 잘해 유든도 와. 다 해본 뒤지기 동안생이 텔레 처럼 친다. 텔레처럼. 가서 기지 레다 녀모게 영왕도 규와 텔지도 안돼 잡고 있나 다가래. 지금 오늘 감성 왕댕인기 즉 마음이 부모이나 다가래. 타마 근데 그 이래. 타마 고산에 자규래. 타마 시규래. 세프이래. 레다 녀모 영왕 인진질라. 빌린 연댕인지나 타마 근데 느끼래. 다들이 빌레나 마보 sem 마치 베치는 거 알지요? 이거는 삼로다 떨어지는 라트에 이거 차. 인디가라 오늘 가라도 내가 생긴데나 랑산 슈가다. 샘싱이 너무 다 영원도나 다 솔직히 갈리요네. 이치다. 샘데 모네지 아기 쇠지. 이 샘 당게 동알데 오늘다 딘데기 삼다데 셀투나 투르 마도 텔레 뉴니 멘자니 샘기 동알세라 백하고리 자리가 담바. 오다티 다 디기디 삼당 거야. 이니 최담제 다음에 봐시디다 다음에데 되기 규지 순된기 다지도 와. 오 디메 봐시. 오다 라메라 파라파리 오다 티데 자기지 있는 게 라메데 규지 순된기 다도 오다 냥안데 봐 지와오 세 냥안데 뇨몽을 자네 오니 랑기 시기기 뇨몽디 지와이나 당오네 지와 오네래 오네 피스풀 피스 지도 인지네 딱 원해랬대. 녀몽 지상지 또서 녀몽라 원는 바지 녀몽 또서 충르잖아. 셈나 대화된 되기에나 땡니 녀몽 가나 대화 같이 지던가 니칸에 라트비아메를 잘해요. 니 원은 내가요. 아주 갱기 그러면 저기 아주 진짜 땅고 더도 냥한 녀몽을 잡아거든. 댕이지 버도 냥한 녀몽을 잡아거든. samutante. 타고네 samutante 땅이잖아. 냥한 녀몽을 잡아도 되지 전부 다. 녀몽이 가서 동안 찍어. 이게 그럼 냥겨. 동안 찍어. 냥한데 녀몽을 잡. 되는데는 냥대지야. 어때? 냥한데 봐 지와오 시도 오늘 답이
So, contaminated virtuous activity or contaminated positive activity. For that example, we can look at this our own body. We attain this body because of the good karma that we created in our past life. So therefore, we have this human body. But this human body itself is the source of many suffering and problems that we have. We know that, right? So illness and lots of the uncomfortable problems actually kind of originate from this very body itself. Although this body is the result of good karma or positive activity. So that is the suffering of change. And when we go into the third type of suffering of conditioned suffering or pervasive suffering, the suffering gets the nature of the suffering becomes much more subtle. And when we say pervasive suffering, we refers to as long as you are under the power of karmic action and ignorance, you are bound to suffer. It doesn't matter whether you are the king of 3 realms, whether you are the leader, chief of the army, whether you are a billionaire, as long as you are under the karmic action and ignorance, your end is kind of going downwards. So and especially we see kind of many billionaires, millionaires today more kind of unhappy. They have a more mental kind of problems, and there are some reason why they are having these kind of experiences. And if you kind of look closer, analyze, you should be able to kind of see some valid reason. So if we want to find the happiness of if you want to find happiness and peace, we should be looking at our own mind, not outside. Examine your mind, how your mind is reacting. So your mind is where you should be looking at to find happiness and peace. And because happiness and peace of the mind is not something that you can experience by buying some drugs from the market or some medicines. That is not the ultimate solution for our own peace of mind. We'll go to the third seal, which is all phenomena are selfless. And the selfless we discussed briefly before. This self here refers to the self, which is self with the 3 qualifications: independent, impermanent, and unitary. So fourth is nirvana is peace. Nirvana is peace. I'm just wondering why they don't use the English word for nirvana translation. Because the Tibetan word is nyang. There's 2 words. So nyang is the suffering, and there means beyond suffering. So if I put this in here, beyond suffering is peace, which is, I think, very easy to understand, right? And nirvana is kind of, I don't know, it's a nice word, but so beyond suffering is the literal meaning for Tibetan, word nyangde, which so beyond suffering, actually, Geshe-la said, refers to beyond suffering refers to beyond ignorance, beyond delusions, beyond defilement. So if you cross already, defilements and delusions, then, what's left there is the peace, So, so Geshe-la said his teacher always, says that nyangde, which is nirvana, is nirvana refers to, delusions and defilements, and through our own experience, if we are able to reduce some level of delusions or ignorance or mental defilement, if we are able to reduce small level, we can experience how much kind of calmness of the mind that we can experience. So now you can compare, if you totally eliminate all these defilements and delusions and negative mentalities, how much happiness or calmness of the mind that we can experience. So it is kind of we can't express that in words. It's beyond kind of expression, the happiness or the calmness. And because well, injidol nirvana teacher the color kabdu the shade and yang de la yang de la tarba la and
that nirvana zana tarpaina tarpa tarsadi nyumoro de wa nyumoro tarwa ma nyumo tangdulene tarsakona jiyo ma.
And Gajal said, nirvana, if it is, nirvana is like liberation, then from whom you are liberating? We are liberating, or we are freeing ourselves from, defilements and delusions. So basically, kind of, the same understanding here. Because why we are not at peace is because of these, defilements and delusions and negative mentalities. Once you are able to eliminate all these, you will experience peace. So we'll stop here, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Textbook Indra, I didn't know what that was.
Which one?
Indra.
Indra.
Nirvana's peace is not fulfilled by Indra.
Oh, okay. Because this one, I will explain because the indented part is not the Tibetan translation. It is just for your, clarification. So this is not in the Tibetan text. Indra, 177. Where is it? 177, first paragraph?
Yeah.
Third line from the bottom.
Third line from the bottom.
Of the first paragraph.
Uncompounded phenomena such as space that are not produced.
Nirvana's peace
is not best. Oh, okay. Nirvana is peace. Yang de Shiva is. And then Shiva di any Indra lo. Indra yang zu ya khasa. Gyajin. Sangwa Brahma. Gyajin nangu yomare su kanji ki tego mare la sha. And it is
jiden jeba bu kagore. Jiden jeba bu sui. That Hindu la khaje samba ne ben jiden jeba bu da. Khaje ki gejin jiden jeba bu da. 가지기 원주 지든 제법을 하더라. 그래서 지와 신디 냥한디 뇨모를 전에 이 뇨모 까베서기 지와도 두 거마다 라투치 텐디기 띠만서 사체도 있는데. 이건 뭐네 배.
Because that the Indra is the name of the Hindu god, and the point here is that peace is not something that can be bestowed by some outside high being or creator, and this can be achieved only through ceasing or stopping one's own negative mentalities, and through that you can find. So because they are in faith and religion who believe that Indra, Shiva, Brahma, and these are the high being or God who will give you happiness or peace. And here it's saying that that's not the case. He said, and the another point is it is negating the concept of creator.
Top of page 177, it says, uncompounded phenomena are phenomena such as space that are not produced in dependence on major or minor causes. Can you give a fuller explanation of what that means?
Uncompounded, that the direction, the dinal yomare pugetina, pigeonal, inginal discus. Dumache chud yora, the namka in the res, and the Gugen Chijung la Tunege, Gigi Marelasha, Dumache chud namka the Buddha.
거기다기 ting이 가지게 jimate ko de teres taging dije gi de dimache de te amare ta dimache se de nam kha da tenju ni pa tenju mini pa ngome dimache takpa sing de tenji de dimache de yingin le dishi mache ba ko chi yingin le ki go amare ko ji ngome ne tu le yen de ji cha de oda tindi eso yang ta cheda mau yang tenjin dimache richi tenjin ni ba re dije mare la gui ji cha chine on thino gore dimache sing de ngone yingin le ki ba mare se ga ga tam mare se ni mare
So Gajala said, he gave some meaning of the term before, and some he want to give later. And this is the one. Uncompounded is actually the opposite of compounded phenomena. So uncompounded phenomena and non-functioning thing and permanent thing or object. These are all having kind of same meaning, which actually is the opposite to three things that we mentioned before: compounded phenomena, functioning thing, and impermanent. So here, it very decisively says that if something is uncompounded phenomena like space, it doesn't need to rely upon causes and factors for its own existence, and because they are just they are permanent phenomena like a space.
dimache gi nam kha de takpa cha gore three ka sam ni menga de nam ke singi de thowa da reba ka sam ni menga de nam ke singi de jaza thore ka di insa thoya da reya ke yo mar ko ka sam insa nam ka tong sang ta pe agi number tham je ta pa re te renga ta pa de la number tham je ta pa da renga ta pa re khangpe nam ka pumpe nam kha ta de zo renga ta pa re kar na koi nam chulu ta ne pumpe na chulu no pumpe nam kha mya nam ka so tong sang mi do chulu che khangpe ne chala ta hang na khangpe nam ka sa wa de renga ta pa re kar na nga zo de 디지기 치인 그레 차니 남칼라 감베 남가 충충도 누가 땅 투고 알아 남가 동상 전부들랑 아주 가르치는 아주 누가 대상 땅 투고 말데 이제 토 그런 젤리게 전에 토레 남칼라 토와다 레야메 인자 토레 가슴게 맹가 아스데 남가 생일을 도시야요
랭가 원래 내가 봐도 지거래
랭가 와서는 내가 봐 삼던 누르도 해지도
the example here, phenomena such as space, and space, we briefly mentioned before. When we say space, generally space is defined as, lack of, trying to find the closest word, that which merely oppose, meeting and touching. I don't know if it makes sense or not. Let me, or the another way of saying is lack of, obstruction, and talk about the lack of obstruction and barriers. So this is kind of general meaning for the space, and so the space in generally is considered as permanent, but the permanent is also kind of further categorized into temporary permanent and sort of forever permanent. And the temporary permanent includes like space in the in the container, in the pot, space in the house. Although the space here is permanent, but if you fill up the house, where is the space? But the big space, is all the time, out there without changing. Did it answer your question?
So space is not, in the permanent sense, space is not an illusion?
Space is not what?
An illusion.
Illusion. Because Chuba Marwasas.
Truvata Mari.
Yes. No.
Truba ko ta Truba sinde lojile jago. Tagi duje la zu shepa demi duje sungum kore. Zu la Truba se jago mare. Ta chulji de yula yonde gende ne yonguru mada. Demi duje la Truba jago mare. Truba sinde to shikile shepa la jago. Shibe ta nishi zonrijina mi lebe wangi ka nazi kenki kani ngombo thongya marbo thongya karbo thongya oda teni damile yongore wangbo lebe to chulbate shibe gile jagoro maba teni chila jaya mare.
Illusion, mainly, when we look at the kind of category of the object or thing, form, consciousness, and uncompounded phenomena, we don't consider illusion as a part of form. It's not kind of external or something, object. It is not uncompounded phenomena, but then it comes under the consciousness. So it is kind of illusion is on the consciousness. There might be, we might kind of sometimes say that there are things out there which serve as a basis of illusion, but not the illusion itself. So the illusion is, for example, if you are looking at, white snow mountains, sometimes, because of some, a problem, some your physical problem or illness, jaundice. If you have a jaundice, the snow white mountain appears to be yellowish. It's more on a kind of consciousness, illusion rather than outside there. It's not out there, but it's rather inside.
Jime velocirede tati dancing de la dame to be serap kiwe goni no gormado pangormado jen mindo koni dancing tena kumbo da dancing da kumbo dami mi ba chile mi ne jinango sungal wale mi ba kumbo le mi jinda chigi zembar tuvan jindi or chigi zembar matuvan jindi or chigi mi ba chile mi ne jinango sungal ko lo sungal. Dancing culture na tigre. Dancing jana, dame to bishar bhi hoga. Dancing na deme to bishar hoga.
And self-grasping and truth-grasping are both considered as the kind of illusion. And in order to eliminate this self-grasping mind or conception, what you need is the exact opposite mind. That is a mind which realizes selflessness understanding, and only producing or generating that mind you can eliminate self-grasping mind or conception or conceptual or illusion. And so these two kind of mind, one valid, one kind of illusion, they both have the same target, same object of observation. For example, mind which perceives this body as a true existence or independent existence, and then there's another mind which understands the real nature of the this body, lack of independent existence. So there are two kind of ways of mind or understanding, but both kind of looks at the one target, that is the body.
But chi loshi imbada, chushi imbada, chi demba imbada, kandisi tawar, kandisi ta chigirisena, kanla geten semaye, telajin in the chicken. Dame to be sheratela, geten semayo. Katsu lo chigi, telape, sal, rulu. That you know what the salt way. Lulu shedala, dame to be sherat. 지금 산으로 콜레 끈체로 가진 타는 뺏대가 매야 차로야. 드디어서 콜레 겟된 체마네 매차. 저선 출시당 로시당 다 로체마스인데 겟된 체마 예멜라.
So how can we differentiate these two minds? One which is wrong and eluded, and one which is true and valid. So we need to look at the kind of, as we mentioned before, valid cognitive mind, and which is supported by valid cognitive mind. So if you look at the, for example, the truth or reality, and if it is supported by the valid cognitive mind, the more you investigate, the more you analyze, the better your understanding will be. It will go towards kind of right direction. But if you use the valid cognitive mind to investigate wrong view or illusion, you will see more faults, more problems, and eventually you might get to the point where you need to totally disagree, what you start from the beginning, totally kind of negate. Assumption. Sorry, we have to stop here. Time up. Dedication more than what Desumajave Jawa Damje Yengowa Ganla Jodo Ngawa De Andage Geve Sawa De Gunja Sambo Jenje Rabdo Ngawa Raiki. In the line encircled by snow-white mountains, the source of all happiness and benefits flows in your presence. Remain until samsara ends, just as the Bodhisattva and usually attain omniscience. And Samanda brought to two. So now I do dedicate this as long as the prosperous are past, present, and future, praise the divisions is supreme. So now I do dedicate this as my merits for all things to perfect good actions.